Hey everybody, Jason here. So I'm out in the streets of Santiago de Querétaro in Mexico, and I've been living here for a little over a month, but I haven't done a video on why I chose Querétaro as a place to move to. So I thought it's about time. So in this video, I'm going to spend some time walking through the downtown area of the city, Santiago de Querétaro. I'm not going to be able to show you what the entire city looks like, obviously, because it's a big place. But I'm going to walk through, try to get some shots so you can see what it looks like while I talk about the criteria that I had when choosing where to go. Before coming to Querétaro, I needed to decide what it was that I was looking for. And I made a list of specific criteria. They were things like the location, the quality of the food, the cost of living, safety, modern conveniences like internet, healthcare. You know, these things that in other parts of the world that we take for granted. I wanted to have specific criteria when I visited somewhere that I could assess the situation and decide if it's a good place, if it's a good fit for me. So in total, I ended up with 10 criteria, and those are the points that I'm going to talk about in this video. But I'm also going to include one point that I see people moving here for that I'm going to say, don't move to Querétaro for this reason. So when looking at the criteria, it's a little bit difficult deciding which was more important, except for the first one, location. After deciding that I wanted to go to Mexico, I started looking at the different cities that were options, and I'm going to pull up a map to show you where they are. I looked at places like Puerto Morelos on the Gulf of Mexico, and I looked at Puerto Vallarta on the Pacific coast. I also looked at Puerto Escondido, and then a little bit inland, the city of Oaxaca, and Querétaro, of course. Now, that's not going to matter to some people, because if you're, a beach person and you want to be somewhere coastal so that you can go to the beach every day or do some coastal fishing or, see the sunsets from the west coast, obviously you're not really going to want to be in a central location. But for me, I decided that central was good because I could then go and explore some of these other areas a lot easier. So as an example, if I decided to travel over to Cancun, it would be about a 2-hour flight. If I wanted to fly over to Puerto Vallarta, it would be about an hour and a half flight. And driving to Mexico City from Querétaro is about a 2.5-hour drive. So for me, location, being centrally located, Querétaro was a winner. So the rest of the criteria for me had about the same amount of value. I'm going to move on to cleanliness. The thing with cleanliness and Querétaro is known as a clean city, and it is a clean city. The thing is, when I was researching it, other bloggers, vloggers, information givers described Querétaro as this place where there's no garbage, can't find garbage in the city. It's so clean. And I gotta say, I was pretty stupid to believe it, and that's bullshit. There's garbage. It's a city of 1 million people. Of course there's gonna be garbage. You walk through the city and you see litter on the ground. There's dog shit on the sidewalk. But Querétaro also has a lot of people, like city workers, cleaning the streets all the time. So it's Sunday right now, and I see a street cleaner up ahead. They sweep, pick up all the litter, and that's wonderful. So it does keep Querétaro very clean, but you will still see garbage. So don't be fooled by people who say it's super clean and there's no garbage. So the next point is climate, and Querétaro has a climate that I like. Might not have a climate that you like. You might like snow in winter, but for me, today it's 24 degrees, blue sky, and I'm in February. So yeah, this morning I think it was 6 degrees, cold in the morning, and now it's nice. It's a dry climate, and I also like that, but it was also a little bit harsh at the start. I found it really drying out like my sinuses, and had allergies, things like that. But price to pay for what I would call beautiful weather every day. So the next point in my criteria was food. It was the food that I could buy at the grocery store or in markets to cook at home, and also the food available in restaurants. So this is a tough one to answer, really. Querétaro has kind of a bad reputation for food. Even the people who live here say the food isn't very good. What I'm gonna say is, so far when I'm shopping to buy groceries for home, I do find it a little bit limiting. Back in Canada, I had meals that I knew how to prepare, and now I'm challenged to be able to prepare the same meals the same way. I am able to cook at home. I'm able to have a variety of food, but yeah, I would say so far the ingredients are a little bit limiting. As far as eating out, there's a huge variety. So yeah, some of the restaurants have not been great, but you find that everywhere in the world. And at the same time, I've found that other restaurants are fantastic. Like, I went to a Japanese ramen house, and it was like truly one of the best meals that I've had in years. So to say the food isn't good here, no, the food's good. You just have to find it, and then once you find it, you know where to go for different things. Yeah, I'm still learning about this, but I'll say I'm not disappointed by the food at all, but cooking at home has been a little bit challenging to make what I would make back in Canada. Okay, so the next point is friendliness. Yeah, when you want to move somewhere, at least me, I want to live somewhere where the people are friendly. Now, I visited Halifax, Nova Scotia for a month or so, and the people were the friendliest people that I have ever encountered in my life. Like, truly, it was like a freak show of nature how friendly the people are there. If you want to see friendly people, go there. But I'll say the people of Querétaro are incredibly welcoming, very friendly, hospitable. Being a non-Spanish speaker, they do their best to try to communicate, to help me, and yeah, that's fantastic. So I can't say anything negative about the friendliness of the people. I would say the locals 10-star rating on friendliness. I can't really end it there, because there's more than just locals here, right? There's expats and tourists and who knows who else. So this is the thing I'm gonna say. The locals are awesome. If there's anything negative here, it's some of the visitors or expats. I'm not gonna single any culture out, because it doesn't work that way. But yeah, there are some expats who come here, and I would say they've brought their baggage, and I think you probably find that in any city or any country, so it's no surprise that it would be here as well. But as far as the locals go, the experience and being able to obviously choose who I hang out with, socialize with, yeah, I'm having a good time. I like the people. Okay, the next point is safety, and this really is a tricky one. Okay, I looked up safety before leaving Canada, before booking my flight here, and was trying to find out, am I coming here to die, or am I coming here to move? And everything I read or found said that Querétaro is an incredibly safe place. Numio said that Querétaro is safer than Toronto. It even said that it was safer than Halifax. So, number one, it makes me question Numio and also some of the other reports. But talking to the locals, yes, Querétaro is safe, and I feel comfortable here. Now, that said, I do need to tell you about a couple incidences just so you can understand what I've observed in the 5 weeks that I've been here. Okay, so yes, I make YouTube videos, so right now I'm walking around with my phone in front of me and talking to it like an idiot. It draws attention, and a couple weeks ago while making another video, and I mentioned what happened, I had 2 people in different ways check out what I was doing in my camera. The one person paused and actually stopped, then moved on a little, stopped, kept a close eye on me, enough to make me feel comfortable, make me feel uncomfortable. Now, I gotta say, of course, people are curious, and that might have only been the situation. Maybe this guy was just curious. Soon after that, I was filming down by the river, and there was another guy who definitely got my gut turning, who not only was staring at me, but was giving me the old stink eye. So I put the phone away and moved on. Maybe I was filming, where he lived or something like that, or maybe he was a drug dealer and didn't want me filming anything around him. I don't know, but those 2 things have happened. But something else happened the next day. So I haven't told anybody this other than people who I'm in contact with here, simply because, my family watches my videos and I don't want them to worry about me. And I really don't think it's a huge deal, but I was walking on the other side of the train tracks, on the other side of the river market, and I did see a guy tuck a handgun into the front of his pants and then pull his shirt over top of it. Now, obviously, seeing that, I decided that it was time to head the other direction and, just ensure my safety. And then afterwards, I followed up to ask locals about that. I don't know what gun laws are. Is that legal to tuck a handgun, walk around like that? No, it isn't. And yeah, it's illegal. So that guy was probably not a good guy. So Querétaro is safe, but I would say the same applies as with the garbage and the cleanliness. It's a city of 1 million people, and you are still going to have crime and people in society who are up to no good. Before ending this section on safety, I would say that I wouldn't be concerned about safety at all, other than these few, issues that I've had, if it wasn't for the gated communities and the barbed wire up on top of buildings, the bars in front of windows, I ask myself, how safe can a place be if everything is locked up so tight, right? So safety is one of these subjective things, same as cleanliness. Yes, Querétaro is a clean city. It's definitely a clean city. And Mexican people who I've spoken to have told me that, especially for a Mexican city, Querétaro is very clean. I would say Querétaro is clean compared to a lot of North American cities. Now I'm going to apply that and say the same about safety. I would say that Querétaro is safe compared to other Mexican cities and compared to other North American cities. It might not be as safe as who knows where. Places where they don't have bars on the windows. But I think it's a subjective topic, and I think this is probably why Numio has Querétaro rated so safe. I think it's probably statistics based on locals, and if that's the case, then it's what they know. Okay, so this next point is probably not going to be important to everybody, but for me, accessing green space is important, and I'm going to say that at least the centro downtown area of Querétaro is a bit disappointing. There's not a whole lot of green space. There's the river that I'm walking beside right now, which does have a nice pathway. It is a nice walk, but it's busy traffic on either side, and the river itself, you know, in my opinion, sorry, Queretaro, but the river's pretty filthy. You know, you see garbage floating in it and whatnot. It's, you know, it would be much nicer if it was cleaned up. Most of the other space that's accessible within the city are, you know, like paved parks. They're, you know, they have pavilions, and, you know, they might have some gardens in it. They're very beautiful, but it's not really the same as green space, in my opinion. We'll check some more out. Okay, so the next point is going to be a really quick one. It's modern conveniences. So these are things like, you know, Uber or Uber Eats. You know, here we have another service as well as Uber called Didi. There's also BlaBlaCar, which I never heard of from where I'm from in Canada, but you can arrange like long distance ride sharing. What else? There's good internet. So again, how good? Subjective. For me, I was living in a rural area in Canada. I had crappy ExploreNet satellite internet that was hardly better than dial-up, but here I have high speed, so yeah, internet's good. There's public transport, taxis, really everything that you'd want, at least everything that I would want as far as modern conveniences go. So yeah, it's good. Okay, so the next point I can't really speak to because I haven't used it. Hopefully I don't need to use it, but it's healthcare. Now, I did a little bit of research, and what I found was that the healthcare system should be reliable, and I have walked over to have a look at what the hospitals look like. They look like a modern hospital that you'd find in any major metropolitan area in North America. Yeah, I'm really not concerned about it. I think that the healthcare here in Querétaro should be reliable. Like I said, hopefully I don't need to use it. Okay, so I've got one more criteria to talk about before I get to the one reason why you shouldn't move to Querétaro. So I probably don't even have to say this. The cost of living in Querétaro is lower than in Canada or the US. But you should know that the cost of living in Querétaro is more expensive than many places in Mexico. So it's less expensive than Mexico City, but then after that, yeah, it's one of the more expensive cities. So there is a lot of savings. You know, I don't want to say the cost of living is half of what it was in Canada for me, but there are considerable savings. But if you're looking for a place to live that is cheap, Querétaro is probably not the place. Okay, so there's one reason why I think it would be a bad idea to move to Querétaro. Okay, so I've been noticing that there's a certain percentage of people who are coming to Mexico to get away from like mask mandates, vaccine passports, and that type of thing. And yes, Mexico is a country that you can travel to right now without proof of vaccination. That said, Querétaro has fairly strict rules in place for living here. I don't know how many locals I filmed today, but you know, if I filmed anybody walking by me, you can go back and have a look, and likely everybody was wearing a mask. This is really common, so if you're planning on moving to Querétaro because you don't want to wear a mask, yeah, that's not gonna happen. You're not gonna escape it by coming here. Here, you wear a mask in outdoor spaces. I've been to the kayak club and people are wearing masks out on the lawn at the side of the lake. Here, when you're going into stores or restaurants, you have your temperature taken, you're given hand sanitizer. In the restaurant, you can have your mask off when you're eating, but you wear the mask when you walk from the door to your table, and wear your mask when you're walking from the table out the door. I think this is important for some people because some people are packing up and coming to Mexico to escape mask mandates and, you know, vaccine mandates. There are states in Mexico where I think that might be possible for you, but I think that Querétaro is definitely a no-go. I think also along this note, it's important to know that coming here thinking that you can live without following the rules of the community, yeah, it's not going to be appreciated by anybody here. So yeah, don't come to Querétaro. Okay, so there you have it. Those were the 10 criteria that I used when deciding where in Mexico I wanted to come to and how I chose to come to Querétaro, and the one reason why I would say don't come here if you're someone who doesn't like mask mandates or everything else that comes with the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, I gotta say as well, because I can already anticipate there'll be some comments, I don't give a shit about your opinion about the pandemic. I'm just giving you the information about what it's like here. So if you are someone who doesn't want to wear a mask, it's not the place for you. If you are someone who doesn't care about the mask and you're looking for a place to go, these are my findings after being here for a month. I'm still evaluating the area. I'll say I like it so far. I mentioned some things like accessible nature and it not being that great in the city. Well, I've also found that I can get out of the city and get into the Sierra Gorda and access some incredible places like Puente de Dios. It is possible to live here comfortably and enjoy the culture. I'm trying to adapt to the culture, assimilate into it, and I think that's the best way to go in my humble opinion. And I think that's really all I have to say in this video. So yeah, if it was valuable to you, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and if you're new to the channel and want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. Okay? Thanks for watching.